What happens when policy meets performance? Across America, blue states and red states are taking very different approaches to taxes, regulation, crime, education, and business, and the results are impossible to ignore. In this video, we're breaking down a true head-to-head showdown, comparing policies to real-world outcomes using data, trends, and economic indicators to see which model is delivering stronger results. 1. Taxation. Revenue maximization versus income retention. Blue states such as California, New York, and New Jersey operate with progressive tax structures that generate substantial public revenue. These funds support large-scale public services, mass transit systems, public healthcare expansions, subsidized housing programs, and higher education funding. Red states, including Texas and Florida, often forego state income taxes altogether. Their model prioritizes income retention, leaving more disposable income in private hands. The outcome? Residents in red states typically experience higher take-home pay relative to gross earnings. Blue states, however, often provide broader public benefits funded by higher tax contributions. The trade-off becomes clear: centralized public investment versus decentralized private spending power. 2. Housing affordability. Supply constraints versus expansion. Housing costs represent one of the starkest contrasts. Blue states frequently impose strict zoning laws, environmental regulations, and development constraints. While intended to preserve environmental quality and neighborhood character, these policies often limit supply. Limited supply, combined with high demand, drives prices upward. Red states tend to allow more aggressive suburban expansion and streamlined permitting. As a result, housing supply responds more quickly to population growth. Median home prices in many red states remain substantially lower than in coastal blue metros. The result is measurable. Home ownership rates tend to be higher in more affordable states, strengthening middle-class wealth accumulation. 3. Business climate. Regulation versus operational flexibility. Blue states frequently implement strong labor protections, environmental mandates, and worker classification rules. These regulations aim to enhance workplace safety and social equity, but can increase compliance costs. Red states generally promote streamlined regulatory frameworks and pro-business incentives. Corporate relocation trends over the past decade show major firms expanding into states with lower operational friction. From a results perspective, red states have experienced faster net job growth in certain sectors such as logistics, manufacturing, and energy. Blue states continue to dominate in high-tech, finance, and entertainment. 4. GDP and innovation. Concentration versus distribution. Blue states lead the nation in total GDP output and innovation clusters. Silicon Valley, Wall Street, Boston's biotech corridor. These regions produce global economic influence. Venture capital concentration remains heavily blue state-oriented. Red states, however, have diversified rapidly. Technology hubs in Austin, Raleigh, and Miami are expanding. While total GDP may still favor blue states, growth rates in several red states have outpaced traditional coastal centers. This creates a divergence between total economic mass and economic momentum. 5. Population movement. Outmigration versus immigration. Domestic migration patterns reveal a measurable shift. Several high-cost blue states have experienced net population outflows, while lower-cost red states have gained residents. Migration reflects economic preference. Individuals and businesses relocate toward affordability and tax stability. Immigration strengthens tax bases, labor markets, and housing demand in destination states. Outmigration can reduce fiscal stability in states losing residents, especially if high-income earners relocate. 6. Cost of living and purchasing power. Nominal salaries in blue states are often higher. However, once adjusted for housing, transportation, and taxation, purchasing power frequently shifts. A six-figure salary in a high-cost metro may not stretch as far as a mid-five-figure income in a lower-cost state. Purchasing power parity significantly alters the perception of wealth. The economic outcome for families depends less on gross income and more on net financial flexibility. 7. Energy policy. Climate goals versus cost stability. Blue states often pursue aggressive climate policies and renewable energy transitions. These initiatives aim to reduce emissions and promote sustainability, but may raise short-term energy costs. Red states frequently prioritize domestic energy production and cost stability. Lower electricity and fuel prices can reduce household expenses and improve industrial competitiveness. The head-to-head result depends on whether one prioritizes environmental acceleration or immediate affordability. 8. Public services versus private autonomy. Blue states invest heavily in public transportation networks, healthcare expansions, and social assistance programs. These services can reduce inequality and enhance access to public goods. Red states emphasize individual autonomy and lower public expenditure relative to GDP. Residents retain more direct control over spending decisions, but may encounter fewer publicly funded services. This contrast reflects philosophical differences regarding the role of government in economic life. 9. Income inequality and wealth concentration. Blue states host a large share of America's billionaires and ultra-high income earners. Technology and finance sectors create enormous wealth concentration. However, inequality metrics in some blue states rank among the highest nationally. Red states generally show fewer ultra-high earners, but sometimes exhibit more moderate inequality ranges internally. The distribution of wealth differs substantially between models. 10. Long-term sustainability. Competing visions. The ultimate showdown is about sustainability. Blue states rely on innovation clusters, global connectivity, and high-income industries. Their risk lies in affordability pressures and regulatory complexity potentially driving outward migration. Red states depend on affordability, population growth, and pro-business positioning. Their challenge lies in ensuring infrastructure, education, and healthcare systems keep pace with rapid expansion. Both models produce strengths and vulnerabilities. The head-to-head comparison is not a simple scoreboard, but a reflection of competing policy frameworks producing distinct economic landscapes. Blue states dominate in global innovation, capital markets, and cultural influence. Red states lead in affordability, population inflow, and cost competitiveness. The winner depends on the metric used: GDP size, growth rate, purchasing power, inequality levels, or quality of life indicators. The real story is not partisan triumph. It is economic divergence. Two governance philosophies are shaping two distinct models of American prosperity. The long-term outcome will depend on how each adapts to migration trends, housing supply pressures, fiscal stability, and global economic shifts. The head-to-head comparison reveals a complex picture. Policy decisions shape economic growth, affordability, safety, and opportunity in powerful ways. Whether you lean red or blue, the numbers tell a story worth examining closely. If you want clear side-by-side breakdowns of the trends shaping America's future, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you stay informed on what really matters.